The sculptures on the trail are like responses to the unique history of the Forest of Dean. They were developed and inspired by the distinct qualities of this place. And similarly, the poems that I've written and I'll be reading on this walk are like a mixture of my own interpretations of the sculptures and also poems that are related to the history that the sculptures themselves evoke. So the way that the walk is going to work, we're going to go off and visit some of the sculptures. When we get to each one, there's going to be a bit of time for you to look at each sculpture and have a think about it. And then I'm going to do a poem which is like my own interpretation of the sculpture. So we'll be visiting some of the sculptures on the walk, not all of them. We don't have time to visit all of them, I'm afraid. But we're going to be seeing some of the new ones and some of the old favourites as well. And the route we're going to take is a slightly interesting one. So even if you've been on the trail before, hopefully we're going to keep me guessing where we're going to be going next. So yeah, we're going to head off and we'll be back here about 12. The first poem I'm going to do is about a sculpture which is not here anymore. So it's a giant's chair, as I'm sure you know, otherwise known as Place, created by Magdalena Jetelova. The sculpture was a sort of big wooden chair on this site. It was decommissioned last year for safety reasons, and some of the wood was transformed into charcoal in order to make other artworks as the artist originally intended. Place. While giants grow up around it, this place becomes what we want it to be. A place to create stories around and then carry them home for bedtime. A place to believe the secrets the forest holds from us. But this was not a real chair. We complete the image of it from just the frame. A chair that none of us could sit on. It was a viewpoint into the forest, into the place we hold dear. Yassassin. White shapes of wood that fell to form the net of a nest around us. They fell together gracefully, settled with disjointed beauty, silent and white like a negative of wood, something to develop from and start our exploration. Here is root height. For support, we lock and hold to the dark ground when we need it most. And here is ankle height, the size of shoots when they break fresh ground. And here is head height, eye level where observation is natural and easy. And above us is the canopy, the net and mesh of fully grown trees stretching over us, each tree a home within a home. This is Cone and Vessel. My wedding present for you was an acorn. I told you to plant it in your garden so you could always be within reach of a forest. So you planted it. And with time and rain, a forest grew around your house. Thorns graze at your door, ferns are window frames, and you are a neighbour to oak. Observe the seasons and the lessons they carry. Collect twigs and moss and learn to build a nest. Make it hard against the wind, but soft against the skin. Home should be a place to return to. Learn when it is time to let go, and learn how to let go. Leaves do not fall far, so don't be scared to let in new light. Gather acorns, share them with your children, and remember how small each beginning is. Thorns do not stay, but you will find a set of antlers each year outside your door. Oak is a marker for home and marks the starting point. Measure time in rings and anniversaries. and always be within reach of a forest. Black Dome. In the beginning, it appeared near Whitegates as though shouldered up from below, black spikes piercing the ground, and that repeating pattern, like the scales on a pine cone, tessellating to form a new structure from these simple shapes. And when we saw it, we climbed it. We climbed the stack of charred larch branches, the pillars beckoning like a causeway, inviting us to be complicit in the transformation, as each footfall rubbed it smoother and flatter, until gradually it became the perfect curve of a black dome. Fire and water boats. Near here is a gate that opens from light to dark passages that slope down to rivers that seep and flow through flooded mines, and on the surface they discharge out the outlet pipe into a clearing where there is a pyre of oak and spruce built high on a boat. Let the flames seize and torch the boat. Let him live in eternal light. And when smoke and ash and mourners remain, through tears and fire, I'll be ferried away on the other boat, up and across the underground river, to the trapped miners on the far side of the mine, each one haloed by a candle, as they work like stars against the black sky of the mine interior. My grandeur could be one of them, still working even when late, still digging out the inside, back towards the surface, desperate for upper air. Lines stretch on and branch off to Lidbrook and Cinderford from Serridge Junction, surrounded by the forest. A pannier tank with its loaded coal trucks starts back down the bank to Lydney with thrust and spurt of steam, and its whistle sounds 50 years behind us. In that time, the axe fell, the line cut and ripped up, the track removed, the track bed bare, and the rhythm of the trains and the collieries halted. It falls to us to continue the story. After the book shuts, after the factory shuts down, I find a trail of feathers and follow it up onto the old embankment, where lines of sleepers retrace the lost line. Every image is formed from what came before. Read. Learn. Only when you know the past and the tracks that brought you here can you move on further along the line. I watch the feathers go and blow on the wind. I add a new line, and another whistle sounds 50 years ahead of us. Dead wood. A bullet has been planted. War is sprouting across the soft ground. You hear gunshots as though they are in the distance, as though it is someone else who is in their sights. But the boots of troops form in rows. They pierce the forest with pine needles and bayonets. They tell you that this is the last place you will see. This is your resting place after you are toppled and left to rot. One shot, one bullet that they plant in you, and the war strips life from the landscape, grinds it down into a blurred set of browns. So after the chair came down, some of it was turned into charcoal, which was used to make the sculpture here. So this is charcoal measure, which was created by Anya McCausland. There are marks we pass each day, each year, without noticing or knowing how they came from underground. There are markers we pass to our children, hints and notes that they will treasure, bury, lose, and rediscover. And now that the show is over, it is time to leave. Pack the chairs away into the charcoal stack, and let the black magic happen out of sight. The slow turn of wood into the fuel to fire and industry. Relaid in lines imprinted on the surface, the chair repositioned and restructured into a marker of the past, and a marker of the past that was laid here before that, further back and deeper ago.